All right, good evening, everybody. This is the Selma City Council regular meeting on February 17th, 2026 at 6 p.m. in the Selma City Council chambers at 1710 Tucker Street in Selma, California, 93662. The teleconference phone number is 301-715-8592. The webinar ID is 891-6864-5005. When on the phone, if you wish to address the council during the public comment part of the agenda, press star 9 to raise your hand. We will select you from the meeting queue. Press star 6 to unmute and mute yourself. Notice to meeting attendees, members of the audience shall not engage in disorderly or boisterous conduct, including the utterance of threatening or abusive language or other acts which disturb, disrupt, or impede or otherwise render the orderly conduct of city council meeting infeasible. Tonight's invocation is from Minister Leonela Robles Salva, representing the Iglesia Antioquia. Welcome.
Everybody, mayor, council members, thank you guys for having me tonight. If you guys want to please join me in prayer so we can go ahead and open up this meeting. Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus Christ, we thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be here tonight, Lord. I ask, Lord, for your blessings and your divine protection and leadership upon each and every person that's here tonight, Heavenly Father. I thank you, Lord, for the people that you have appointed, Heavenly Father, to lead this city, Heavenly Father. And I pray, Lord Jesus, that you, Lord, give them the direction and that you give them, Lord Jesus, the guidance to be able to fulfill your heavenly purpose, Lord, and to be able to fulfill the will that you have upon this city of Selma. In the name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Please stand for the flag salute. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands.
Would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Avalos.
Here.
Councilmember Oseguera.
Here.
Councilmember Trujillo.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Here.
Mayor Robertson.
Here. Potential conflicts of interest. Any council member has a potential conflict of interest may now identify the item and recuse themselves from discussing and voting on the matter. Agenda changes or deletions to better accommodate members of the public or inconvenience in the order of presentation. Items on the agenda may not be presented or acted on in the order listed. Additions to the agenda may be added only pursuant to California Government Code Section 54954.2B. City Attorney, do we have any such changes or deletions tonight?
Nothing to add or to delete, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, City Attorney. Moving on to oral communications. At this time, any member of the public may address the City Council regarding any item on the regular meeting agenda over which the council has jurisdiction. No action or discussion will be taken on any item not on the agenda. Issues raised will be referred to the city manager for review. Members of the public are asked to limit their remarks to 3 minutes. Do we have any oral communications at this time? Anybody online or on the phone, comms director?
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
Thank you, sir. With that, we will move on from oral communications to our consent calendar. All items listed under the consent calendar are considered routine. The complete consent calendar will be enacted by one motion by roll call vote. For purposes of discussion, any council member may have an item removed from the consent calendar and made part of the regular agenda. The council can then approve the remainder of the consent calendar. Do any council members have any items they would like removed from the consent calendar this evening? I would like to remove item 1-1. Is there a motion to approve items 1-2 to 1-8?
Make a motion.
Second? Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
I'm sorry, who made the motion?
I made the motion.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Yes.
Councilmember Avalos.
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera.
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo.
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Okay. All right, moving on to item 1-1, which is the minutes from the February 3rd, 2026 council meeting. Just a matter of form going down to item 6 on council reports. My question is, I'm just a little confused by the format of those council reports. I went back and watched that part of the meeting. And it looked like, council members had various city-related functions that they reported on, which is, I believe, what this is for. Just as the city manager sends his report out of activities to the council, we give our report to the people, our bosses at the meetings. So, I'm just looking at city-related functions as what's being related. And I'm looking here and, wondering if council members aren't going to be identified for attending city-related functions individually, why would one council member be identified for, praise of departments, as opposed to relating city-related functions? I'm just asking for the identification. Are you identifying
I can
people?
identify everyone
praise?
in the future if you would like. I apologize for that.
Yeah, I'm just asking for clarification. Is someone identified because they praise the departments, which is a worthy part of speech, and not identified if they go over city-related functions? if they
There
perform-
was not a rhyme or reason.
Okay,
And apologies on that. I reviewed these and approved these afterwards, and that was an oversight on mine. I didn't catch that.
I just
So,
think, if we do one,
yeah, we'll make sure that,
yeah, one's identified, then
Yep.
probably everybody should be.
Most
And if
definitely.
not everybody's identified, then it should be all council.
agree.
Correct. Okay.
Appreciate
Not
that.
a problem.
We'll do
Okay.
that moving forward.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions about item 1.1?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. If we're gonna do it in the past, way in the past, when I was on the council in the past, way in the past, everybody was identified, transparency, I mean, and sometimes we have a new staff, so, we learn as we go in life, and I think, this is, and I think, clarifications already as we go, we'll fix things as we go. Scott.
Yep, we'll have it on the next one, correct?
Thanks very much. Is there a motion to approve item 1.1?
I make a
Nope.
motion.
Second.
Okay, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Avalos.
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera.
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Moving on to departmental reports now. City manager?
Yes. Pull that up. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Since we last met, I've been working with finance and our department heads regarding tonight's mid-year budget and moving into the next fiscal budget. I also attended a meeting with HDL that provides information regarding sales tax to us. Selma sales tax receipts for the third quarter were generally stable and in line with regional trends. The sales tax receipts for the third quarter 2025 were approximately 2.5% higher than the same quarter last year. And so that's good. Regarding the full report for the 3 quarters so far, essentially says that right now growth is flat. I also met with the Fresno County CAO, Paul Nerland, regarding starting up discussions again about the Rockwell Pond. They are sending me over some of the information from when they last met with city staff for review, and I will have an update to council on the future. And then last week, I attended the League of California Cities Managers Conference. I attended several classes that were very good, provided a lot of information, networked with some of our local city managers, and I'm looking forward to implementing what I learned there. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you. Right. Community Services Director Fletcher.
Evening, council and mayor and members of the council. Just wanted to update you that James and the Giant Peach does open this week and tickets are almost completely sold out. So it's going to be a really big family show over at the Selma Arts Center. So if you are wanting to watch our cool kid players perform James and the Giant Peach, tickets are still available at limited availability, limited quantity. And then the second thing that I did want to report on is Jose, our PIO, made a wonderful flyer for our upcoming Selma Live event. And so John and Tammy Pemberton will be in Selma April 10th, providing some live entertainment and line dancing in downtown Selma. So mark your calendars, April 10th, 5 to 10 p.m. in downtown Selma. That's all.
Good. Thank you, Director. Speaking of, Communications Director Moreno.
Mayor, members of the council, like Director Fletcher said, the flyer is now in distribution. We're starting the promotions and marketing behind Selma Live, community engagement event, and bring folks to the downtown area. You'll see that on the billboard on Floral and Whitson as well soon. But since we last met, the Blossom Trail grand opening occurred in the Selma Art Center. It was a great event. We had a lot of dignitaries from around the area come and visit our art center and kind of learn about the city's role in the Blossom Trail. I prepared a welcome video and I'd like to share it with the community if that's okay. I'm gonna see if I can fumble my way through this real quick. So thank you. I just really want to thank the chamber for the event organization behind it, working with the county, and also working with Public Works, the Art Center, Director Fletcher and her team. It was really a collaborative effort to make sure that the event went well. Also, I want to thank the restaurants who donated a lot of the food. The food was a hit. The chamber mentioned usually after these events, everybody just leaves, but in this case, everybody hung out and they really wanted to enjoy the food and spend time with each other. So that's the update for the Blossom Trail.
It's great. I remember I was at the 2019. That's the last time we hosted the opening of the Blossom ceremony, and it was just different. We had it at the Art Center, but we didn't have food afterwards. We didn't have the kind of get-together atmosphere that we had this time. And I really think the videos, the food, and the collaborative elements that we had there with lots of people from different cities join the Farm Bureau, it just seemed like we had just a lot of people in the whole community and the whole county get together in Selma, and that video really helped set the table, so to speak. Thank you for that. All right, now I think we will forego our usual 5-minute break because we just don't have a lot of departmental reports tonight and not a lot of gallery given the weather that we have outside. I want to congratulate everybody for showing up tonight who came out in these elements. So thank you for that. Absolutely.
I just wanted to thank Rachel Padlin not only for being here when she didn't have to, but also Mid-Valley for always providing bathroom stuff for all our events. They're on board for the April 10th event already. So thank you, Rachel, and Mid-Valley.
Thank you. Moving on to regular business, our first item is an action item. It's consideration and necessary action for acceptance of fiscal year 2025-2026 mid-year budget report and adopt resolution 2026-17R approving fiscal year 2025-2026 proposed budget amendments. Director Moreno.
Thank you, Mayor Robertson and council members. The item before you is the mid-year report. Before you is the council to accept the fiscal year mid-year report as well adopt resolution 2026-17R for the proposed budget amendments. So as you know, at midpoint of every year, we bring back a report to you all to see where we are, where we budgeted till mid-year. So this reflects from July 1st through December 31st. So currently our revenue and expenses are trending about normal. Currently, right now, we have revenues at, let me see where it's at. So starting with the revenues, I'll go and start there. So this report does provide an opportunity for the city to make any adjustments necessary to ensure that the budget is balanced at the end of the year. So revenues being at 39%, I'm going to start with the general fund. So there's an attachment on page get that to you real quick here. On page 303 of your packet is called the General Fund Summary, Attachment A. So I'll start with the revenues. As you know, revenues are collected throughout this different times of the year. I'm going to start off with the ones that we received the second half of the year. So we have our property taxes currently at 40%, is at 980,000. And then we have the second one that we received at the second half of the year is our motor vehicle and license in lieu, currently at 54% at 1.4 million. Then we have those revenues that are monthly, starting out with the sales tax, the Bradley's sales tax, as City Manager Jason mentioned, meeting with HGL. Currently, right now, we're at 40%. It's reflective of 3.6 million at mid-year. It's only reflecting 4 months of revenue. That being said, any monies that we receive for July and August normally get accrued back. So this is 4 months of revenues. Going on to another that we receive monthly is our license and permits, currently at 38%. We have charges and services at 44%, as well as the fines and forfeitures and penalties trending at 23%. These are our revenues we get for administrative citations, court fines, and parking fines. The last one we have monthly is our use of money and property rental income. This one it does show a low percentage. There is an adjusting journal entry that's done for interest allocation. It'll be more reflected in the third quarter. Other ones that we receive quarterly is our TOT, our transient occupancy tax, currently trending at 37%. We'll see this more on the third quarter, again, on the third and fourth. And the other quarterly that we have is our franchise fees, currently also reflective on the third and fourth quarter. We also have those revenues that are varies. We have grants, reimbursements from post reimbursements from other state mandated revenues, currently at 52%, as well as other finance sources at 33%. This is one that we do also do an end of year allocation for all transfers in. And then lastly is other revenues. So the other revenues is where we get monies as one-time revenues. And it's all miscellaneous. We are proposing one budget amendment for this one to increase revenue proceeds from monies coming in from the Selma Enhancement Corp to the general fund to offset for special events for expenses. So that concludes the portion of the revenues. Any questions on revenues?
Director Moreno, just for clarification on the revenue statement, we're talking about monies that come in that are in the rears. Is that correct for the
Yes.
4 months? Okay.
Yeah, so what normally happens is because they come, it's at the end of the fiscal and it's 6/30. Any monies that come in July or August are really from prior months. So we accrue that back to prior year. We'll be doing the same thing this year. This coming July and August will come back to this fiscal year.
And then we've received a few grants so far. We just haven't tabulated those. They haven't been included, but they'll be included in the budget. Is being included. Is that like a separate report that the finance director is going to receive, or how are we going to let her know what grant monies we received?
Yeah, so for these grants or the grants within this, about $29,000, those are done when the project is moving through and then they request reimbursement. We have other funds that do get grants as well that have submitted for reimbursement. This one hasn't, and I can't recall off the top of my head what this one was for.
The 29 one looks pretty specific. So,
Yeah.
so that one's coming, and then there have been a few more with the new grant writers. So that'll all shake out by the time we have that final budget, though.
Yeah,
right?
so that can be reflected on the third quarter, which I'll be presenting in April.
It's just that at this time, as of December 31st, those hadn't been accrued at this time.
So if they come in after 7/1/2026, after the fiscal year, they're still accounted for in the 25-26 fiscal year if the city was awarded that grant?
During the
25,
fiscal year, yes.
26? Okay,
We can
that's
accrue
how
them
what
back.
triggers the revenue. Okay.
Okay, so going on to the expenditures, currently right now, it's at 39%. I'm sorry, at 54%, and therefore, all the departments are within their budget allocations. I will go over the proposed budget amendments for the expenditures. So if you look at page 303, some of the adjustments that we're going to be doing is on the police field operations, we're having to increase the workers' comp for 50,000, as well as the fire administration, operation and prevention. There's a couple of budget amendments on there. Again, this is all detailed in attachment C, what everything's for. We had a one-time subscription for Lexipol, also fleet repair and a vacation cash out, as well as some overtime adjustments for for strike team and strike team travels. However, this is also been offset by mutual aid reimbursement that's coming in on the revenue side. So that's just increasing both the revenue and expenses. Some of the public works streets, there was unbudgeted numbers for downtown projects, so there will be an adjustment there. As well, a combination under public works parks, as council approved a combination of the Schaefer Lights, downtown projects. We also had carryovers. Carryovers is a budgeting term we use to define fund balance being brought over from prior years. We had the purchase of a mower for Public Works, as well as improvements for the Ringo Park. And my understanding is that we got a grant from Prop 68 for that, so now we expense it this year. We received that last year. As well as some improvements for the Brentlinger pickleball courts for the solar lights of 18,000. So that's in a sum of all the general fund that we had to do for BAs for that. Any questions on the expenditure side of the general fund?
Go ahead, Scott.
On page 306, Director, I'm looking at the detail on the expenses. The animal shelter overtime callback, 4,000, that's just a projected budget amount that hasn't been incurred yet, to my knowledge. Is that correct?
So that, it has, and that's where we're adding it. Because we, as callback, we didn't add
Add
it
to
in
the
the
animal
budget,
deal.
so it's additional 4,000.
Got it. And then the, let's see, the other one would be the third item from the bottom, wastewater infrastructure capital projects, Amberwood Sewer Trunk, UPRR. That would be the testing for the fiber optic cables and putting in that temporary line, which is incurred a cost of 254,758. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe so. Correct, David? UPR, Union Pacific Railroad crossing.
I'm not, that was all budgeted within the Amberwood project, so I'm not sure if this is specifically moving the money from where it was under the ARPA funds to the actual bond fund. Because that number does not equal the research for the UPRR. So I'd have to look into that a little bit more, but I think the answer is no, but I could.
It's
get
another
more
cost, but
information.
you'll get some more detail for us at
Okay.
a future meeting, okay? And then, all right, and then if I could just, can I go back to revenue for a quick sec?
Sure.
So back on page 303, other finance sources, transfer ins. What are the sources of those transfers in?
So those is, we bring them from other departments, we bring them in. I can bring you more detail on that on a
Could be
separate
like
email.
the FCRTA, the maintenance facility.
Correct. They're
doing the
internal service
maintenance.
funds, yes.
And the ambulance fund and
Yes, for administrative
the-
costs that are accrued by the general fund, and then there's a portion that is paid out by other divisions, which then comes in as a reimbursement.
how is this different from the internal services fund that you see charged to different departments?
It's not.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Got it.
Transfers in, transfers out.
This is just the revenue part of the
Correct.
expense that we see under folks' budgets. Got it. Councilman Avalos?
No, you just covered the, with David already. Yeah, I was gonna ask about that cost. I said, I couldn't believe it. Says it was gonna be moved. There'll be an incurred cost, and I don't know how that's gonna play out he just stated it right earlier, so.
Yeah, I don't think that number's a
The
number
numbers are
that
not gonna be
they don't
true.
know where that
And
number is coming
the
from.
other issue, now we get we still get the sales tax from people like this, right? Now, when does that come in? What, is there a time frame when this thing comes in, like is it annually, like or every 6 months?
So city manager Jason had mentioned earlier, we do meet with our HDL sales tax consultant, and they always compare prior year to this year, and I think we're up by a certain percentage. But we do get them monthly, but it's not reported to us to 3 months in arrears.
Since I got you, it's up this year, isn't it? As far as the FedEx, Amazon, and
Likely.
how much? Okay. All right.
Good. Anybody else?
Do you want me to go over the special revenues really quickly, or just, because I can explain some of the sewer trunk budget amendments? I can still go over if you like. So the special revenues is area where it's restricted for a specific purpose. Everyone pretty much trending as expected. Several of them, we do have a BA on the street construction and maintenance. That's where we have the other 18,000 for the solar lighting project. Going down the monthly, we did receive gas tax. It comes monthly as well. That's represented July through November.
Which page again, Director?
Actually, let's see, sorry. I'm looking at
We're on 303.
let's see. I apologize. Yeah, I'm looking at page 296.
Okay.
I'm just kind of briefly going over the special revenues. There is also a budget amendment proposed for the gas tax, which is on page 296, and that's for the purchase of a prior year expense for a public works vacuum excavator, as well a budget amendment for the street rehab project for the RMRA SB1, trending as normal for revenues for July through October receipts. We can go down to the Article 3 and Article 8. It does represent a low percentage. We just submitted the claims for reimbursement for that. That would be reflected on the third quarter. There is also a carryover budget amendment there for the alley project to remove the sewer. As well, going down to Measure C, there is currently revenues at 32% and as well expenses at 36%. We do have a budget amendment there for the Golden State Project county-related expenses, as well the Dockery drain repair for prior year carryovers. Going down the list, pretty much the Vineyard Estates, lighting assessments, the ARPA, they're trending normal as planned through mid-year. The last one is the foreclosed home projects. There was an increase for revenue expenses there. We had increased our revenues due to expenses associated for the foreclosed home projects. And then going on to the next page, there'll be an adjustment for the tactical urbanism grant, a proposed expense there for grant-related fund activities. And let's see. There's also one for the Clean California Grant. That one does indicate that we have received revenues 100% and expenses at zero. A budget amendment is proposed for unrelated grant items. And lastly, the Measure S, that's where we have the half-cent sales tax at mid-year reflecting at 41%. We do have an adjustment there for the strike team labor expenses, which is going to be offset by the mutual aid reimbursement for Measure S. And then going down to capital projects, this is a fund was dedicated for acquisition for construction, improvement of major city facilities. Going down, pretty much there's 4 of them. The last one is the wastewater infrastructure. This one is, B is going to be done for the Amberwood sewer trunk. And again, this is being offset by drawdown from the bond proceeds. Any questions on capital or special? It's a lot of information.
Mayor, real quick,
You know.
back to that, that one, the wastewater infrastructure for Amberwood Sewer Trunk UPR for 254,758. I looked at my notes and that was a carryover amount that should have been included in the budget. And so that was a cleanup item to put those costs back into the budget where it was supposed to be. So as far as actual costs for that, that's part of that project tracking that David and Public Works do. That's not the full cost of it. That's just a carryover of the prior year budget.
Source of those funds is the American Rescue Plan for that.
Combination of, if it's in general fund, it would be ARPA, yes.
Okay. And on item, under capital projects funds, item 4115, the wastewater infrastructure project. So the couple of items are mentioned there. One is what is the elevated expenditures at 500% of the annual budget. So what is that annual budget number?
Okay, so on the capital projects, we had no budgeted for the infrastructure, but the expenses were at 300,000. We budgeted 62,000, so we're just increasing the expense there.
It was budgeted at 62,000.
Yes. And now adding another 254,000 the proposed budget to bring it up to 318. And it's all Amberwood related,
And the source of the bond.
bond proceeds.
Director, just a quick question. What was the total of the bond?
Okay, so the total of the bond was. So based on our notes, the total project was 7.0 million, 7 million. It's a 4.93 interest rate. It was actually the actual issue was 7.2 million.
7,282,000.
Correct.
But that wasn't the whole bond. That's not like the total of what can be drawn from that bond. Is that correct?
City was approved for, or pre-approved for up to 16 million.
We have to go into that.
I have one more question here. On the Dinuba and McCall, the signalization stoplight. Now, what fund we're gonna have some cost there. What, is there a cost factor there?
I can answer that if you'd like me to. That project is a CMAQ federally funded project.
It'd be total
As far as I understand, yeah, that's all in CMAQ.
8%.
88% isn't CMAC 88%?
Right.
Roughly 88% with roughly 11 point something
Yeah,
match.
we'd have to look back when that was pulled in like 2021 of when that federal funding was issued. So each different phase, the engineering phase, the right-of-way phase, and the construction phase are all funded within that CMAC program. And we can look at the F-tip to see if there was local match required.
Okay, on that note, David, how fast are they streamlining that issue on the signalization?
Who?
I know it's a three-phase deal, but I'm curious how they
Looks like they
who
just
is-
staked out the
stake.
right of way.
Stakes.
So we're in the right of way phase.
Yeah,
This is
Right-of-way
in the last
acquisition.
phase before
Yeah,
the
I'm not
last
sure
phase
who, I'm
before
not sure who
construction.
you're referring to as far as expediting, but
Uh-huh.
from our standpoint, we're moving it as fast as we can to meet those requirements. It's in the right-of-way phase, so the right-of-way consultant that was chosen is now communicating with those property owners. As soon as those right-of-way acquisitions are reported and completed, then we can ask for the funding for the construction portion. So as soon as that happens, then we can move over to the construction portion.
Is the purchase for the right of way for the land that has to be purchased for the right of way, does that come out of the original grant funds, or does it come from the city general fund?
It'll depend on what those numbers are. We don't have that acquisition number yet. That's the phase that they're in now. So once they provide the appraisals for all of the properties, then we'll be able to see if it fits within that budget or if we'll have to look for funds to be able to cover those acquisitions.
I think the last time I saw that spreadsheet was about 995,000 in the CMAC kitty.
The
For this
total,
project,
the total, I
total.
believe, yep.
How much has that's been used so far?
The construction portion, I think, is in the 700,000 range.
That's
So I
what it's
think we're at the
projected to be, 700, but it still has to go to bid and.
Correct.
Got it. Questions?
Okay, the last three other areas is the enterprise fund. The only one we have is the ambulance fund, proposing a budget amendment to offset the mutual aid expenses. And the debt service fund pretty much, and pretty much trending. We have paid already some principal interest, so that's why the percentages are at 33% on those. And the last one is the internal service funds, which a lot of those are entries that are done at the end of the year. I think that concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
On the general non-department, the 9,900, is that the internal services that we were discussing previously? The fee for cities?
Yes, and that's in the
Services.
last page. It shows that that's the, which we do entries, and you'll have more on the third quarter, actual entries done to bring those percentages higher.
Anybody from the public with a question about the budget?
Teresa Salas. I do have a question about the stipend that wasn't increased for the retirees' health insurance. You said that you would take a look at it when you came in at mid-year for the budget to see if you could increase the stipend that was paid to the employees so that we wouldn't have to be paying anything out of our own pockets, based on the fact that when we left PERS, the city is no longer making a contribution toward our health premiums like you were under the PERS contract. So that's why the city had was paying us, the retirees from that point back, $80 per month towards our expenses of our insurance. With the increase of the insurance premiums at the end of the year, at that time, we asked if that stipend could be increased by another $25, I believe. And at that time, the council said that they'd have to look in to see where the money could come from, that you would look at it again at mid-year. So I'm assuming this is mid-year, and if I want to know if that was discussed or if that's something that can be discussed at this time.
It's an item that could potentially be discussed in the future. I think we're still settling on these. This is our first look at these numbers for the mid-year budget. So we're gonna need to discuss these numbers and get this down. There's still some of these percentages aren't quite there yet. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there are quite a few additional expenditures in the mid-year budget that were unanticipated, including the Musco lights for $1 million. So we're gonna have to definitely take a look at that. Of course, yeah, Amberwood is trending upwards. It's more than was anticipated as well. And hopefully we'll be offsetting that with revenue in the future. But certainly council could bring this back as an additional item as we get closer to budget, or we can discuss it in the future at a council meeting sooner than later, or when we do the actual budget, when we program the money in for the next year. Does council have a preference?
Bring it back later.
Yeah,
Do the budget?
yeah, bring it back later.
Director Moreno, what is our next, our next milestone for the budget?
Okay, so now that mid-year's done, Jason and I are gonna start meeting with the directors and start laying out the budget. And we'll be coordinating meetings to meet with you all as a workshop and go from there.
Yes, next month we'll be setting up a workshop to where we can discuss goals of the council and requests, general requests, high-level requests from our department heads. So that way we can start developing that picture of where we want to go with the next budget and then move in from there.
Okay, so as we get closer to the budget, we can get more detail on where the money is going to be allocated. Okay. Anybody else with a comment at this time? Anybody online or on the phone with a comment about the mid-year budget?
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
This is an action item. So is there a motion to accept the fiscal year 2025-2026 mid-year budget report and adopt the resolution 2026-17R approving the fiscal year 2025-2026 proposed budget amendments?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
No.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes, motion passes. Next item, 3.2, action item, consideration of the Downtown Business Improvement District Advisory Board applications for subsequent appointment.
Yes, Mayor and members of the council, what you have in front of you are the 3 applicants who applied to be a part of the Business Improvement District. The three applications we received are the following individuals: Rose Robertson from Robertson Guerra Insurance Agency, Richard Braden from Jim Restaurant Management, which is also Kentucky Fried Chicken, and Isabel Vargas from My Vintage Thrift and Boutique.
Great. Thank you for your report and thank you for getting all these applications. So am I correct in saying that there are 3 applications for 3 openings, including 2 incumbents? Is that correct?
There were 4 open positions. We received 3 applications. So we're going to have to go out again for 1 more to fill that 1 position. And there are 2 incumbents, which would be Richard Braden and Rose Robertson.
Council have any questions before we?
I'll make a motion to accept all 3.
Yeah. Can we go to does the public have any
Yeah.
comment? We have someone here who's applied for renewal of her term. Did you have any comments you wanted to make? Okay. Do we have anybody online or on the phone with a comment about this?
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
Okay. Did you want to still make that motion,
Yep.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I'll second it.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Councilmember Avalos.
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. And thank you for your service. Really appreciate you giving back to our city, and we hope that we get that 4th member here soon. Item 3.3, it's an action item, consideration and necessary action on resolution 2026-18R establishing fees and charges for unaltered dog and cat licenses and fines for violation of Selma Municipal Code 6-2-26 relating to the breeding, transfer, and sale of dogs and cats. City Attorney.
Mayor, members of the council, you have before you a resolution that basically sets all the various licensing fees and the fines for failure to get a license for your new breeding, transfer, and sale of dogs and cats ordinance amendment. The resolution simply sets forth those fees. The staff report, however, tells you how they have to be implemented, and they have to be implemented within the context of the existing Chapter 2 of Title 6 with respect to those sections that weren't amended. So the license fee, which is an annual license which expires December 31st of every year, no matter when you get it, and becomes delinquent as of March 31st every year for the unaltered dog or cat, is set by this resolution at $100. If you fail to get the license renewed by March 31st, there's a 50% increase, so you're paying $150. The permit for allowing an unaltered animal to breed, whether it's a dog or a cat, is $380. And then the two fines, the fine for not having an unaltered dog or fine for not having a license for your unaltered animal, is $250. And the fine for allowing one to breed without the license is $575. And those are basically pulled out of thin air, but there's some relationship to the costs that you would incur if you would go get these animals fixed. So you're free to change those at your leisure, but you implement the thing by basically changing all the forms and procedures that you've been following for many, many years with respect to dog licenses. If you go to your website and you work really hard at it, you can find something on there that allows you to apply for a dog license. The current fee for dog licenses distinguishes already between altered and unaltered dogs. It's a $10 fee for a altered dog. It's $20 for the unaltered dog. But it's only applicable to dogs. So with respect to all the forms that you have for those licenses, and you'll notice the resolution repeals all prior ordinances that set any kind of licensing fee for any animal. And the fees are now those prescribed by this resolution. So the altered dog or cat license is going to remain where it is, $10. If you're a senior, you're over the age of 62, $5. And those licenses work the same way as all the rest of them. They expire December 31st and they're delinquent as of March 31st. Those are parts of your existing ordinance that you work within implementing the amended ordinance, which is section 26. Section 15 sets the license requirement. The section that you amended, which is 26, simply makes the license requirement applicable to both dogs and cats. So the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to change your forms for the application for the dog license to cover cats as well. And you know, the licensing requirements set that annual requirement and makes it expire as of December 31st and delinquent as of March 31st. And those don't change by virtue of the ordinance that you amended. So it's really simply a matter of going in, changing the way you have people apply for animal licenses. And that's just merely adjusting your forms and reflecting the current license fee. So if you have an unaltered cat or dog, you're gonna pay $100. If you pay before March 31st, you're gonna pay $150 if you pay after that. And that's for every unaltered animal you have. But the license fee for the altered dog or cat still remains, rock bottom. $10 and $5 if you're a senior. But that is essentially the way you need to implement the thing in the context of that existing chapter that hasn't been amended. You've already got the procedures and policies and forms all in place. They just need to be updated so that you're dealing with both dogs and cats, and to change the amount of the fee. Fines you impose as you would any fine, and that's simply by giving the person a citation.
Okay. Thank you for your report, City Attorney. Does council have any questions?
Yeah. In the interest of helping our citizens out, I would like to, I don't know if we can table this or if we can hold off on implementing, because some of us, well, most of us in council are working towards doing trying to get some funding to do spay and neuter clinics and everything else to help out, because I mean, getting a dog or a cat spayed is it's not cheap. So we're looking at TNR, we're looking at, like I said, funding to do vouchers or whatever we can, because I think it's going to be a hard hit on a lot of people, because, a lot of people have, most of their dogs are unaltered. So that's gonna, they're just gonna dump the dog. And I think we need to establish something to help first, and then say, okay, now you have the opportunity to get your dog neutered or spayed. So, City Attorney, what do you recommend?
And I guess establishing something to help them out means finding the money.
Yes, exactly.
So you can certainly table it. You don't have to implement the new amounts currently. It'll still be an amended ordinance out there, and you can implement it whenever you feel it's appropriate. There are some grants out there that you can get to assist people in getting their dogs, cats fixed. So we should speak to the grant writer about looking into that and getting those grants in so that we can take care of that problem.
Okay. And we've spoken to her regarding that, so she's actively looking for some of those grants right now.
That was good guidance. The UC Davis grant you mentioned at a previous council meeting. I think there's something out there for around $39,000 to $41,000 that the grant writer said she's going to be looking for.
Yeah, I think it's UC Davis, which trains all the veterinarians, so they're into this big time, and I think they actually send down the veterinarian in training to fix the dogs and cats, and they have a little setup.
Experience.
Yeah.
So, and I agree with Councilman Oseguera. The intent of this is not to charge people a whole bunch of money that, people have to put towards living expenses these days, which are rising. The intent is to curb the overpopulation of cats and dogs in our city. This has been a problem, and we're trying to find solutions, cost-effective solutions to it. But this has to happen. There has to be a cost-effective way to take care of your dog, fix your dog, fix your cat, so that there aren't so many roaming around the streets. Invariably, a big percentage of them end up at our shelters, and you just can't guarantee their safety at the shelter. We have a no-kill shelter that does the very best, but sometimes these animals, things happen, and they do lose their lives at the shelter. Unfortunately, they get hit on the streets. Things happen to them. So this is a real struggle. This is a struggle that a lot of cities, most cities and most counties have. And I think this is a good way of starting it. So if we table this for now, I think the next step would be to come up with a spay and neuter program funded by this grant or a funding source to provide spay and neuter so people can have a financially reasonable way of taking care of their animals per this rule that's coming. This is not a forever table. I mean, we should make that clear. This is something that it is going to be time-based. We're going to keep looking for the grant source. Another, we should probably also mention that when folks get, if it's a voucher system with local veterinarians to stimulate our economy, our local veterinarians, then the person who gets the voucher would have to register their animals and get a license for their animals. And so that would be important. And also when you get a license, you got to have your animal, your dog, get a rabies shot. So we also need to have a source of funds for a rabies clinic here. And the animal shelter used to do it. We need to get back to that. And we do have a veterinarian that's willing to help with that. It's just coming up with the cost to fund the actual rabies vaccines. That's the step, the intervening step between tabling this and actually bringing it back. Because I really don't think we can charge these types of fees without having a low cost alternative for spay and neuter for our citizens who do have animals. Open this up to the public. Does the public have any comment about this?
Teresa Salas, I do have a question. Currently, when an animal is picked up and the owner comes to a shelter to pick up the animal, are they required at that time to purchase a license now? Or do they just release the dogs to their owners without any? Because, I mean, they do get picked up. Do they have to buy a license when they pick up their dogs?
Director?
Right, I would have to follow up with the shelter staff to see if they're implementing that, but I don't have a direct answer for you. at this
So,
moment.
and I can tell you in the past, no, you come and you
No.
pick up your animal and you would come to one of 3 rabies clinics held at the shelter, January, February, March. And the city would have some people there and you get your rabies shot for $10 and then you go get your license at that time. And there was no differentiation then between, which is maybe where you're getting at. There was no differentiation there between altered and unaltered at that time.
No, what I meant was
Be
like
in the
in
future.
November and my dog got lost and they had it at the shelter and I go to pick up my dog. Does anybody ask me, does your dog have a license or sells one before you can pick up your dog? I mean, I think that would only make sense to have anybody coming in and picking up their dog if they live in Selma and you don't have it licensed, get your license before you can take your dog home too.
You could take it a couple steps further and you could ask, by the way, does your dog have proof of vaccine? They had a rabies shot.
Yeah.
So they're out there roaming and they don't have a rabies shot. That's dangerous on many levels. And then you could take it a step further where we'd like to take it, which is your dog altered? Or is your dog not altered? But
And
your fee for your license is going to depend on the answer to that third question. The idea tonight is we're not there yet. We need to have that mechanism in place for the rabies shots, because how do you require your dogs, how do you require city dogs to be licensed if you don't have a low cost alternative for rabies shot, which is a sine qua non of having a license, a condition precedent for actually getting a license.
then with the whole cat thing, I mean, are we gonna we have our animal shelter or the animal services that go pick up the dogs that are roaming the streets, are they gonna go run around catching cats too?
Nobody's going to run around doing anything. We're going to have professionals at our shelter who are going to be tasked with their job. They are professionals. In terms of picking up cats, it's a little different with a cat population than a dog population. I would defer to our director over the animal shelter here, but cats are generally pretty self-maintaining, and you can engage in a TNR program. Director, do you have anything to add?
Right, so it's my understanding that cats are more free roaming. And so, animal shelter staff will pick up an injured or, cat that needs assistance. But, typically what you do with cats is it's a TNR program. So you trap them, you neuter them, and you release them back to where you found them. Um, that's typically the process for that.
So there's not going to be anybody policing whether these cats have licenses or not. We're just going to require a license if somebody comes in and says, I have a cat, but anybody else that's not my cat, whether it's sitting on their porch or not. If they say it's not their cat, they're not going to be required to get any kind of license for it. I just.
So a license is
I find that it's going to be very difficult to enforce the cat part of it.
not especially. So if they go to the shelter, they also get chipped when they leave. So you're going to be able, if they were chipped, chances are they visited the shelter. So a license is just great, but the meaning behind the license, the significance of the license is that they've had their shots and that they have that they've been altered. So that is the significance of the license. If they haven't been altered, that license is gonna let you know. How do you tell if one cat is licensed or not? Well, you can always wand them for a chip and see if they're registered. And if they're not registered, and chances are they probably are not licensed either. But again, we are in the intervening step here, and we are looking for funds to make sure that we control the animal overpopulation, which is the theme here. Thanks for your comments. Appreciate it. We have anybody else with a comment or a question?
$1057 Mill Street. I'm speaking, Rose Robertson. I'm speaking as an individual and not as a board member of the Selma Cemetery District. I do want to state that I believe I don't quote me on this with my memory, but maybe 5 months ago, we allocated, there was money allocated, if you look in the minutes, for the cemetery district, as we do have many cats there that roam around. And they allocated $5,000 for the TNR program. We do have professionals that come either on our premises to trap or release, or the employees are allowed to do it because they know how to do it. And they take it to McCall Village or whoever, one of the vets here, and it gets paid through the Selma Cemetery District. I think cats have been a problem for over a couple decades, and they're not a whole lot has been done. I know Virginia, and I won't say her last name, donated in her will for that, for the little storage that is at the Selma Animal Shelter now, previous through the Selma Second Chance Animal Shelter, and that was specifically for the cats. Unfortunately, the last 4 years, or since the Selma took over of that shelter, they use it for storage. Hopefully, they will get back to using it for cats like it was supposed to be in the first place. I think everybody needs to pitch in. They shouldn't just leave it on just one area. It's overwhelming. There's a couple females out there, a little group of the TNR for City of Selma, and they've been doing it for a couple decades. They need help. So I think with everybody putting their hats on and trying to help our city with these cats, hopefully we can get them from continuing to have all these cats. They're just everywhere. So it's a good thing that we're all getting together to do something for our city of Selma. People should not be left, and they should know the laws of the cats. If you feed the cats, regardless of where they are, they belong to you legally by law. Thank you.
Okay, and Councilmember Oseguera and I will be meeting with City Manager, with Director Pletcher, and with the new Animal Services Manager. That's the actual the format of getting those grants for spay and neuter and having those rabies shot clinics
Yeah, and Mayor, if the consensus is to table this, we could definitely put a timeline on it, whether it's a month or 2 or 3 months out to bring this specific one back.
Great. Is there a consensus to table this for 3 months?
Yes.
Agree. That will move on to item 3.4, which is the introduction and waiver of the first reading of ordinance 2026-02, amending the Selma Municipal Code 573 relating to special event permit processing timelines.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council again. As stated, this is an introduction of a ordinance and waiver of the reading of it. This ordinance addresses a issue that we've encountered over the past year related to small, low-impact events that don't fit neatly within our current municipal code. What this does is this keeps the 90-day rule for major events, preserves 45-day discretionary pathway for some middle-of-the-road events, but it also adds a 21-day expedited option for minor events, which gives us administrative flexibility while maintaining that we still have public safety review. We looked at various cities throughout the Central Valley, and 21 days was a common one for small, minor events. And so tonight is introduction only and waiving of the reading. If you like the ordinance as is, then we will bring it back next month after we do the public notice phase for that.
Great. Thanks for your report, City Manager. This came about because of several requests, and one in particular for a special event. There really wasn't a lot to it, but the event kind of came up as events do. And the current ordinance is 45 days, which is, really restrictive. It can be restrictive for events that don't really involve a whole lot of insurance, street closure, a lot of that stuff. These are events that are fairly simple in nature. And, I think this is one way of encouraging such events to occur in our town. They bring people together. They bring people out. They foster a sense of community. And for events like this, I highly support a lower timeline on this than the current 45 days. And I really appreciate City Manager looking at this and doing research, seeing that most of the cities adopt a 21-day guideline. But I don't know if we really want to publicize it too much, but, there are exceptions. There's flexibility built into this where there is City Manager discretion over events that, may come up that may not meet that 21-day notice either, which would be the big exception. But it does build that flexibility in as well. Did council have any questions before we?
I'd like to say thank you to the city manager for implementing this 21-day for our businesses, because our businesses at times don't feel that the city does enough for them, or they're not engaged. And this is a way to show them that, if you want to do a little something in front of your building, you're welcome to, as long as it's not closing off any streets. If you're only going to take up maybe 2 parking stalls, that's okay. It's not hurting anybody if they want to do something in their business. But sometimes, some businesses don't have a big, huge conference room where they can invite a lot of people. Sometimes you have to go outside. And it happens, and I'll tell you, for one instance is like us, our building, we don't have a huge conference room, and we've done mixers in the past, but we get so many people that it's hard to put everybody in one office. And this will just support that if I choose to do a mixer and I want to have something just outside, if I have to do maybe in the spring, summer, I have that choice because I'm very involved. I love to share a lot with the community and our citizens, and a lot of them are my clients. So I'm really thankful for this, because I don't need to close off a street. I might just need a parking lot or 2, or, to have something outside. So I appreciate that.
Right.
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, and we do recommend still that people get, their requests in as soon as possible as they know, so that way we can make sure that something, surprising doesn't come up. But these are for those ones, like you said, that are minor,
Yeah.
low impact.
Right.
Yeah, look what we're trying to do. We're trying to engage, look at our downtown. We're trying to make it more walkable. We're trying to make it more of a festive atmosphere, trying to bring people down there. And what better way to start than with the business owners who want to have events? And which will, like Mayor Pro Tem said, maybe a little bit too much in terms of the number of people you're going to have for the room in that building. And they sort of spill out and become a little bit larger of an event. So this is ideal to take account of that and to hopefully promote our downtown and our business district as an area where, it's not just business and that you can also have events to invite the entire community to. Anybody in the public with a comment on this item?
I just want to say to the salons, beauty salons that I've been having these events, I went to both of them. And I think it's really neat because I was speaking to people there and they're not from Selma. So I think with all the effort, it was a lot of work between both of them. A lot of them are not from Selma, so they're showcasing Selma. So they were talking about how nice downtown was looking, and they were asking if there's any buildings available. So it's positive. This is positive. I hope more of them do it. We do have a lot of salons here in Selma. Hopefully, I know some of the barbers are looking into that as well. So I think this is positive for Selma, and it's getting easier for them to do these kind of events versus this headache. So I really appreciate you guys looking into this and making it easier for them. And, anything we can do to help them is great. Again, they're showcasing the city of Selma. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody online on the phone with a comment?
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
Thank you. With that, we'll bring the matter back to council.
Something.
No, this is, Jason, I thank you, okay? Hit the ground running. Don't let it go to your head now, okay? Uh, No, it's very good that you have a new set of eyes on the council and the group out there and our staff out there. You want to look at other cities, what they're doing, and you got to be proactive and you want to showcase your town, but how you showcase your town, you have to be innovative, and this is one of the innovations right now. Cut back the 45-day deal. Hey, people want to come and oh well, I can't do it. I got to do it in 45 days. We just had a meeting. We want to do it in 21 days or 30 days. We can't do it. So they go somewhere else. We don't want them. We want them to come here, and we have a lot to offer. When we showcase the Blossom Trail, we brought out food. This is something that was innovation. The vendors, our people that live in this community, the restaurants stepped up and donated food. And the people, like you said, they stayed behind instead of just take off. And I guarantee you, the next time we have an event, Blossom Trail, they're going to have more people. I could tell you. And thanks to Jose and his helping staff help put that together, and the chamber working together, communication, it tells you that we're moving in the right direction, and this is the way to go. And I'm.
Are you making a motion
to this deal?
Is there a second?
Before the motion, talking about downtown, I drove by there on the way over here, and most of the lights on those trees are already out, so can't really showcase anything with those 99-cent lights because they're already all out. So we need to look at, replacing with better lights or something. I mean, it looked nice when it's lit up, but most of them are dark now. I think one of the ones that are on is the Robertson Garrett one, I guess, because he's the mayor, but just kidding.
Put a
Well,
work ticket in.
we were the first one to have our tree cut down. So
Okay.
yeah, we just got our
So
tree
anyway, just something to
replaced.
look at.
Yeah, I put a work ticket in on that, so I'll make sure to follow up.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
It's a work in progress. These trees are growing. They're supposed to grow 3 feet a year. And we're looking forward to having those trees nice and leafy this year, especially when we have the line dancing going around. Hopefully it
Very
won't
good.
shake the leaves off. So it'll be good stuff. Is there a motion
I already made
for
a
this item? Is there a second? Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Avalos.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra. Councilmember Oseguera.
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo.
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes, item passes. Moving on to item 4, future agenda items. These are council requests for future agenda items not subject to public comment. Items require a consensus. Does council have any future agenda items, starting with Councilman Avalos?
Yes, I want to, I know we talked about the dogs. They're asking me about the bike licensings, what is the fees for the bike license now? They want to come and pay for a bike license and I want, we have e-bikes out there, unfortunately, and we have little scooters out there that are very fast on the street, I think we have to develop a plan, really develop a plan for the license fees for the bikes, the scooters, and the e-bikes, especially the e-bikes, because they're like a vehicle, so as the scooter as well. And we got to find, I want to develop council develop a plan, how to mitigate these issues.
Are you directing the city manager to research other cities and
The,
what they do?
This was brought up as a request at the last meeting. We're currently doing research on it.
Okay.
There's some overlap with the California Vehicular Code that we also have to make sure that we're in compliance with related to that request. So, but we are working on that.
Okay, because I know California hasn't come up with the bike situation yet, so maybe we help them out a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Oseguera.
I don't have anything right now, but I'm sure I'll think of something before the next meeting.
All right, I'll go next. I would like to have a comparison between, I'd like staff to prepare a comparison between the Fix Our Roads measure and the Transportation for All measure as a discussion item for council, so we can be knowledgeable in terms of the two potential competing measures for the replacement of Measure C. Number 2, I would like, let's see, to bring back the colors downtown. And I know you're going to tell me that's in the works, but we really do need to bring that back because as a lot of people are noticing, downtown people are painting their buildings, they're making them look better. Downtown is coming alive right before our very eyes. And this is, people are saying, can the city assist? Here we are talking about assisting with spay and neuter and with rabies shots. Why can't we assist with beautifying our downtown too, city basis? We already have the grant. We just don't have that final piece, which is the approved colors that people can
Can I
apply
add to-
for.
Can I make a comment on yours really quick? In addition to?
Okay.
If that's okay. Today, while I was driving on the other side of where the coffee shop is on the other side.
Yeah.
I was looking at all the buildings. Did you know that most of those buildings colors match? Take a look. The paint, the way they're painted, most of the colors are matching. I mean, I don't know if that was meant to be that way, like way before somebody came up with that, but you'd be surprised that they took the idea and ran with it, and they all most of them match the colors.
So you're saying it's a good idea to bring that forward and make
Yes,
that
yes,
part of our
yes.
downtown design guidelines. Sounds good. And then I'd also like to have just reconfirm that we are, or can we publish city events ahead of time on our website? Council missed an event recently. I think if we could make sure that those events are published, a week or two before any kind of city authorized events, that would be helpful for council so we can look at the website and just see, what's coming up. Because, we want to be part of our city. Last item, this would be for the city engineer. What's the status of those speed calming measures on Wright and Thompson? The buttons, I know that was, they were scheduled to be installed. What's the installation date on those speed buttons?
On Thompson Avenue, just west of the high school is what you're referring to?
Right.
And east side.
Correct.
That's funded through the HSIP project. And so both of those projects are currently in design. And we're trying to time any kind of construction with school being out of session. So whether or not that works for this summer, or if the funding for that, it may be next summer because that is funded from outside sources. The Tactical Urbanism Project is looking at 2 other pilot programs that you'll see in the next month or so. That's a separate project than what you're talking about, but it is in the works.
Got it. I mean, just with all this fog this year, it just really brings the point home. We want to keep everybody safe crossing that, those 2 roads to get to school in the morning. We don't want any more fatalities there. So whatever we can do to expedite that would be much appreciated. Okay,
Right.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
So real quick, consensus on comparison between fix-up roads and transportation for all measures.
Yes.
And bring colors, downtown colors back to council, make sure we're still all in agreement.
Yes.
And then not necessarily this one coming back, but making sure that publish city events online at least a week or so in advance, so that way council and others are aware.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm proposing this because the invitations, they
Yeah.
happen, they don't happen. This would at least give us like a backup so we can check the website in case the invitations don't
Yes.
occur. We'd appreciate those. I think the whole council would, but if they don't, at least we'd have something to check on the website.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know we mentioned this before, but this was brought again to my attention in regards to the trees and maybe the pots, trees being put in pots over where, like, towards the post office and finish off that high street there. Can we bring that back and some consideration in regards to, they don't want any of their parking lots taken out because that area gets very busy as well. But what we're thinking of maybe just putting a tree in one of the pots and see if that would look good, or at least help, get them some shade there. And then the other thing is I'd like to bring forward is in regards to our code enforcement or the city's responsibility to these buildings or malls, shopping centers that don't keep up their shopping center. Whose responsibility is to follow up with these owners or property management to let them know that they have to keep up with their shopping center? Because some of these trees are horrible, and this happens a lot over where the fitness and the new state food's going in, that shopping center, the old Wendy's, their trees get really bad. Their parking lot gets horrible. There's potholes everywhere. And it's just not a good look for Selma, especially when that's one of our main entries when you come through or you get off of Floral. Also, the old Rite Aid building, that area is starting to look really bad. I think we just have to know who is accountable. I mean, is the city after a certain point responsible for notifying the owners or property management to let them know this, and giving them so many days? Do we have an ordinance like that? We do, right? Okay. So,
Yeah, we can provide the specific answers to you.
okay. So those are my 2.
Okay, so more downtown trees, no impact parking, consideration of potted plants, trees in the area.
Yes.
All right, and then code enforcement and their role for trees, parking lot issues, general maintenance of areas.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Trio?
And the favorite part.
We'll move on to council reports now. Councilman Trio. Councilman Avalos.
Yeah, I went to the Central Valley training last week. It was good event. Got back. Actually, I went on a trip to DC with my wife, and she went one direction, and I went the other direction. No, I actually went on. Believe it or not, guys, I even though I went on that trip with my wife, she went on another with United Healthcare. I went in a different direction with some of these Congress people I met. So it was good conversation, and of all things, uh, I met the guy that's walking for peace, that monk uh, hitting the White House of all things. I happened to come up with, I was dropped off, they blocked the streets off, believe it or not. And I ended up in that area where he was at, and he finished the march, and him and the dog, him and the dog. And it was amazing with these guys, what they were dressed. But you know what? In a difficult time in this world, people are standing up. They want, peace and harmony on this planet. And sometimes it takes people like these people to step up. It doesn't matter who they are, what religion, who they are, what people they are. It kind of sticks. It tells you, hey, man, we're human beings on this planet. We can't jump off, and we have to get along, and the best way we can, and to learn about those cultures and religion, and that's how who we really are as human beings. But it was a great event. I was glad to get back because it was cold. It was snow over there. Um, all I could tell you guys, it was a good trip. People I met at the White House, a tour and everything. Um, I didn't get to meet Trump, unfortunately, but it was a good trip, guys. It was a good trip. I met a lot of dignitaries that were there, so I made some contacts. So when these guys come back from, unfortunately, had some issues over there in the White House that to vote on. When they come back, I'll be meeting with some of these Congress people and senators to help not just help the city of Selma, but help our valley, because we live on the planet. We got to help each other. We help each other as a group. Everybody works together fine, and that's how it works.
Thanks, Councilman.
Problem.
Councilman Oscar.
You didn't attend the Blossom Trail? Too late.
What trip?
I attended the Blossom Trail event. It was actually very nice, my first time there. I missed the last cohort, one because I forgot, and another one because I was tired from being my wife's nurse. She had total knee replacement 4 weeks ago. She's doing great. She went, we went out Saturday, we went dancing. So I'm like, man, you gotta be crazy. So it was a good time. See what else? Pretty much, it was pretty quiet.
Awesome, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, I also attended the Blossom Trail, and I just want to say thank you to our city manager and our city staff and the chamber and our PIO, who did a fantastic job. I mean, just everybody collaborating, coming together, just made this a class act event. I mean, it was amazing. And the compliments that people were stating is exactly what I wanted to hear. And I'll tell you, the people sitting behind me said, we're going to start they have to host it, I guess, next year. And they said they're going to start theirs with a video like yours. And so they're trying to get all our ideas. But when I mentioned this before, we did have the Blossom Trail, and I stated to get the businesses involved. They were so generous. There was so much food there that everybody stayed for I would say at least a couple of hours just mingling, and it's never happened before. So it was amazing, and we definitely showcased Selma as first class, and I'm very, very proud and thank every one of you that worked so hard to get this event going. And the chamber did a phenomenal job as well. So thank you to them as well. I also attended the cohorts 20, the 20 graduation for the Central Valley Training Center. And again, it was another great event. You know, it's amazing to see these young men and women graduate from this program and look forward to getting a job with the high-speed rail. We had, I believe it was 5 Selma's residents that were from Selma this time, and that was great. Not that they're not great, that they come from everywhere else, but it's still a great event. I also attended the Washington DC. I went on a conference with United Health Centers, and it was an amazing event. We did meet with our congressman. We met with several congressmen and senators, and we did talk about the very important issues that we're all facing here today. And one thing that when we sat with our congressman, well, he's not our congressman, but it was Congressman Fong, he mentioned in the next 5 to 10 years, the Central Valley is going to be so overpopulated. I mean, it's going to grow, and it's not going to be even recognizable that what it looks like today. So he said there's going to be so much development, so much housing, so much economic growth that, yeah, it's going to look really different. So City of Fresno will be probably the 3rd largest city in the whole state of California. So other than that, that was my weeks.
Thank you. I attended that cohort 20. That was very inspiring. 5 came from Selma, the 20 graduates. So there have been 320 graduates now in this program, and there's funding for 3 more years. This brings a lot to Selma. It's held in Selma. I made the comment when we were there on Friday at the graduation that about 5 years ago you had a couple members of the building trades and the high-speed rail that said, where are we going to put this program? And they decided to put it in Selma and fund it. A couple years before that, we had a director of our rural transportation service say, I'm going to build a maintenance facility. Where should I put it? We looked around. We competed with Fowler and Kingsburg for it, and Selma got it because we have a great location. We have a great population. We have a great demographic. We have people that come out and support our city, and it's the ideal place to locate a business, a school, to live, to rent, to own. You name it, you can find it in Selma. We're very, very diverse here, and it really shows by the organizations and the people and the businesses that pick Selma to locate in. So really proud of being a resident and a business owner here. The Blossom Trail opening ceremony was just amazing. Our comms directors set a trend for producing a quality video ahead of time. I don't know if they will have that kind of production quality. I don't know if they can come close to that, but they're going to try. So you've set the bar really high, and that reflects very well on Selma. Thank you. I attended a LAFCO meeting, a local agency formation commission meeting, as I'm an alternate on that. And I attended, and this was to increase the sphere of influence of Fowler, the city of Fowler, by about 4,000 acres. So they are making a move. Fowler is moving. They want to build more homes in Fowler. And they have seen success in locating their homes previously. So we in Selma are also going to put homes here, and we are on that track as well. And so we're looking forward to also offering homes as well as business opportunities for businesses as well as municipal organizations and government organizations. I want to invite, and I attended a downtown business event on Sunday They are benefiting from our enlightened policies of special event permits. So thank you, City Manager, for leading the charge on that. Everyone is also invited to a plaque dedication ceremony on February 27th at 10 a.m. In front of the Selma Elderly Apartments on Wright Street. We're going to honor Terry Serrano. I don't know how many people knew Terry. He was a longtime regular at the senior center, but he rode the bus every day and he loved it. Knew all the drivers, knew all the folks there, knew everybody in Selma. I mean, you go to the senior center and say hi to Terry, city event, say hi to Terry. And unfortunately, he passed away last year, so we're going to honor him with a plaque that the FCRTA had made to put on the bus stop there, and one for the family. And if you have a chance, it won't take a whole lot of your time, but it'll be at 10 a.m. on February 27th. If you want to stop by, it'll be outside at that bus stop. Interestingly, Terry attended the dedication of that very bus stop in 2015 when he came in there. So it'd be kind of fitting, and Terry's family will be there as well. That will move on to our last oral communications of the evening. At this time, any member of the public may address the city council regarding any item on the regular meeting agenda over which council has jurisdiction. No action or discussion will be taken on any item not on the agenda. Issues raised will be referred to the city manager for review. Members of the public are again asked to limit their remarks to 3 minutes. Anybody with a parting oral communications tonight? Anybody online or on the phone? With that, we will adjourn our meeting. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. Drive safely.